Do you? That's good.
Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal. Kan. All praises to the Most High, Ba'ashem Mash Gabashai, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thanks to the Most High for another Shabbat day, where Israel, through the four corners of the earth, can come together in a holy convocation as per the covenant that the Most High made with our forefathers. We are the Light of Zion, located down here in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, 2937 West Broward Boulevard. I am Elder Lapalal, to my left.
Officer Aliyah.
Kan. All praises to the Most High again. And shalom to all our congregation logging on and live stream and online. Last week we went over some scriptures in the book of Judges from chapter 1. In the book of Judges depicts the events that took place after Israel got situated in our homeland. And the Most High gave us judges and elders to follow his laws, statutes, and commandments, along with the Levites, the priests, to teach our people obedience and as a form of governance, rules, laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. We're going to continue today in chapter 5 of the book of Judges. But before that, let's go to Colossians 3, verse 17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the other one, Mashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to God and the Father by him.
Whatever you do in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Most High and Mashiach Yahushai, giving thanks continually. Because without the Most High and Mashiach Yahushai, there will be no hope for salvation for Israel. Us being scattered through the four corners of this earth, man. Being consumed by the nations that we're living amongst, indoctrinated by them. But all praises to the Most High, the Mashiach Yahweh, as per the covenant that he made with our forefathers. You've been reconciled back. You gather back together as a sheep into the fold, coming together as a nation. Let's go to Judges chapter 5, verse 1.
Judges 5 and 1. Then sang Deborah and Barak the song of Abinoam on the day, saying, Praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves. Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I, even I, will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord God of Israel.
Right. So Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, saying after they were victorious over the Canaanites who had them in captivity for a number of years, they were giving thanks unto the Most High for the victory, and they were singing the song. They were singing praise ye. They didn't sing Barak, the song, the son of praise ye Yahweh for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offer themselves. Okay, so of course I was singing praise to the Most High in the middle of a song, giving praise to the Most High for the victory that the Most High gave Israel over their enemies, the Canaanites. Hear ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I, even I, will sing unto the Most High. I will sing praise to the power of Israel. Can read on. So it's always good when the Most High give you even a minor victory in life. A minor victory. I always give thanks for that minor victory, man. That's always even a verse of praise and thanks, acknowledging that the fact that the Most High, give you that victory. And just acknowledging that small victory, which is a form of gratitude, the Most High, give us a larger victory. I read on verse 4.
Verse 4. Lord, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens dropped. The clouds also dropped water. The mountains melted from before the Most High, even that Sinai from before the Lord God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, and the days of Jael, and the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. The inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel until that I, Deborah, arose, that I arose a mother in Israel.
Right. So the Deborah is that's acknowledging to the Most High. Everything was the whole world was in awe. The earth trembled, and the heavens dropped, and clouds also dropped at the presence of the Most High. And the verse 7 said, the inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel until that I, Deborah, arose, that I arose a mother in Israel. Because of the oppression that Israel was under. The oppression that Israel was under. It's like everyone was in a state of depression. A state of depression almost non-existent. No time for mirth, no time for partying, no time for drinking wine. Everything was like everyone was in a melancholy mood. Until the Most High arose, Deborah, a mother in Israel. Read.
Verse 8. They chose new gods. Then was war in the gates.
Right. That's what happened. That's the reason why our people are in the position that they're in today. That's the reason why our people were in captivity. We're in turmoil. We're travailing. Because what? They chose new gods. The Most High blessed them. They were prosperous for a while, for a long time. Then they forgot that it was the Most High who gave them that prosperity that they had. So they got, seduced and enticed by the ways of the other nations. All these were curious to see how the other nations were living. So what did they do? They started worshiping the gods of the other nations. After the Most High told them not to give the daughters to the sons of the heathen, or give their sons to the daughters of the heathen, because they take you away from following the Most High. That's why the Most High wanted Israel to separate ourselves, even in captivity, and rehearse the righteous acts, man. Right? Sorry, 8 again. Yeah.
Verse 8. They chose new gods. Then was war in the gates. Was there a shield or spear seen among 40,000 in Israel?
Right. They chose new gods. Then was war in the gates. Right. Because they chose new gods, then the Most High sent an enemy against them. Whenever we chose to be an enemy of the Most High, guess what? The Most High will send our enemy against us. So the best way to be at peace with the Most High is to what? Keep His laws, statutes, and commandments, and believe in the Mashiach Yahushai. Was there a shield or spear seen among 40,000 in Israel? No, there was no shield or spear seen amongst 40,000 in Israel. After we conquered the nations, you were at peace. But after we disobeyed the Most High, then what? He sent the nation against us. He rose the nations up to punish us. Read on.
Verse 9. My heart is toward the governors of Israel that offer themselves willingly among the people. Bless ye the Lord. Speak, ye that ride on white donkeys, ye that sit in judgment and walk by the way. They that are delivered from the noise of archers and the places of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
Yeah, they that are delivered from the noise of archers What does the noise of archers mean? Right, and not archer is someone who's killing the bow and arrow. That's the name of a person who's killing bow and arrow. Your archers. He always hit the bow and arrow just flying through the air. So those are delivered from a war. In the places of drawing water, the place of drawing water are a place of captivity. There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Most High. We're delivered from the noise of archers, even though we're still being oppressed, because we see what's going on with our people being shot down in the streets, being discriminated against, being abused. But it's not as violent constantly as it was like in hard labor, slavery, hard bondage. So the Most High said, well, we should rehearse the righteous acts. Rehearse the righteous acts, meaning what? Keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in a place of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake. Utter a song. Arise, Barak, and lead thy captivity captive, thou son of Abinoam.
Right. So the Most High said, awake. Tell his people to awake. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake. Utter a song. Arise, Barak, and lead thy captivity captive, thou son of Abinoam. Yeah, lead thy captivity. So those and that's how it's going to be in the future when Most High, Bashem Mashkawashai, start raising up Israel again. We're going to lead our captivity captive. You know what? Those who once others in captivity, the tables are going to turn, and we're going to lead them into captivity. Read.
Then he made him that remaineth have dominion over the nobles among the people. The Lord made me have dominion over the mighty. Verse 14. Out of Ephraim was there a root of them against Amalek. After thee, Benjamin among thy people. Out of Machir came down governors, and out of Zebulun they that handled the pen of the writer.
Right. So different, prominent men of renown, prominent men of the different tribes were put in position where we're now in rulership over the Canaanites and the other nations that were in our homeland. That was in our homeland. Yeah, our homeland. It was previously theirs, but the Most High gave it to us. But a remnant of them still lingered on. But the Most High, put us back in a position over them during the time of Barak and Deborah. Read.
Verse 15. And the princes of Issachar were with Deborah, even Issachar and also Barak. He was sent on foot into the valley. For the divisions of Reuben, there were great throughout thoughts of heart. Why oughtest thou
Why abodest?
Why oughtest?
What? Read again. Why abodest?
Verse 16. Why abodest among the sheepfolds to hear the bleatings of the flocks? For the divisions of Reuben, there were great searches of heart. Gilead abode beyond Jordan. And why did Dan remain in ships? Asher continued on the seashore and abode in his branches. Zebulun and Naphtali were a people that jeoparded their lives unto the death in the high places of the field. Verse 19. The kings came and fought. Then fought the kings of Canaan and Tanakh. Taanach. By the waters of Medigo, they took no gain of money. They fought from heaven. The stars in their courses fought against Sisera. The rivers of Kishon swept them away. The ancient river, the river of Kishon, O my soul, thou hast trodden down strength.
Right. So yeah, this is how the Mosai rose us up, and the different tribes, got together, and we have dominion over the nations round about us. Read.
Verse 22. Then were the horse hooves broken by the means of prancing, the prancing of their mighty ones. Curse ye, Moraz, said the angel of the Lord. Curse ye bitterly in the inhabitants thereof, because they came not to the help of the Lord, to the help of the Lord against the mighty. Verse 24. Blessed above women shall Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite, be. Blessed shall she be above woman in the tent.
Right. So this is the woman that drove that nail in the temple of that Canaanite king who was fleeing from Barak. Right.
He asked water, and she gave him milk. She brought forth butter in a lordly dish. She put her hand into the nail, and her right hand to the workman's hammer.
Right. He asked for water. She gave him milk. That milk put him to sleep. That milk, you got kind of soothed him, and being also tired, running for such a long time, and then tired from the war. He went straight to sleep. Read 26 again. She put her hand to the nail.
Verse 26. She put her hand to the nail, and her right hand to the workman's hammer, and with the hammer she smote Sisera. She smote off his head when she had pierced and stricken through his temples.
Right. So then she cut off his head. Put the head to Barak. Read on.
At her feet he bowed, he fell, he lay down. At her feet he bowed, he fell, where he bowed. There he fell down dead. Verse 28. The mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through a lattice, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariot?
Right. It says mom was looking out for him. Why do you take you so long to get home? Something must be wrong. Mother always, when the children are in danger or something happens to the children, because of connection with the spirit, so the mother feels, why she can just feel it. Something is wrong. That's what that's a feeling. That's a so-called gut feeling that she had the moment that Sisera was killed by Jael. Right? 28 again. Read 28 again.
Verse 28. The mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariot? Her wise ladies answered her, yea. She returned, answered to herself, have they not sped? Have they not divided the prey?
Have they not sped? Have they not divided the prey? So she was sure that, hey, they were going to be victorious because they've been dominating Israel for a while now. Have they not divided the prey? I mean, what's taking them so long? He shared the money. He should be back on his way now home. Right?
Verse 30. Have they not sped? Have they not divided the prey? To every man a damsel or two? To Sisera a prey of diverse colors. A prey of diverse colors.
Look at the prey the mother was talking about. Have they not sped? I mean, weren't they in a hurry? Have they not divided the prey? to every man a damsel or two. So she know about that, damsel, women were like a part of the spoils of war, even amongst the nations, what I mean? Whenever a particular nation conquered another nation, what do? They kill the men. Kill the men and even probably kill all because that's what we used to do. That's what the Most High ordered us to do, kill the men. Occasionally, sometimes the Most High just kill everybody, man, woman, and children. Sometimes the Most High said just kill the men and the boys and the women that were with, who had husbands, but save, and the animals. But the Most High will give a specific instruction to follow at every step of the way. Sometimes it varies. Understand? I read on.
To Sisera, a prey of diverse colors, to prey of diverse colors of needlework, of diverse colors of needlework of both sides. Met for the necks of them both.
Meat, yes, right.
Oh, meat for the necks of them that take the spoil. Verse 31. So let all thine enemies perish, O Lord, but let them that love him be as the sun when he goeth forth in his might, in the land at rest 40 years.
Right. So that's how long the Israel was at peace. I mean, we had the rulership, dominion over the Canaanites and any other nation within our vicinity. 40 years. Read. Chapter 6.
Chapter 6. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High.
There we go again. And I guess 40 years was too long. That's too long a period of time for us to have peace. We long to be in oppression. We long to be ruled by the other nations. That's problem with our people too. Because they know, even a lot of our people in the truth, understand? We came into the truth. They know we're the Hebrew Israelites, what the scripture says about our future dominance, but they refuse to come back to the truth wholeheartedly and keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. They want to be out there with the world, in the world, amongst other nations, partaking in the activities of the other nations, knowing that they're going to pay a price for it, but they want this instant gratification. Meaning what? They want worldly pleasures right now. Get me Ecclesiasticus 8:11. No, I'm sorry. Ecclesiastes. No, in the Bible. What? Let me see if that's what I really want. Verse 12. Get verse 12.
8 and 12.
God.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged.
Right. A lot of our people, man, they do a sin 100 times. They don't get jacked up right away, so they think they're getting away with it. They think it's okay, so they keep doing the same thing over and over. Read on.
Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God.
Right, but it shall be well with them that fear the Most High. We're talking about we're in this for the long haul. We're looking at the future prize. Some people want theirs now. They want the instant gratification now. But they're going to pay a price for that in the future. So we're making the sacrifice now, keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, because we know there's a future reward, which is better to us, because this is not our rest. No matter how much financial gain you have in the society, understand that Esau and the heathens and rulership So financial gain and material possession, that doesn't amount to much in this society, because you have to conform to the ways of the world if you want to share in the glory of this world. And conforming to the ways of the world is totally contrary to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and even detrimental to the well-being of your own people. Because so certain a position of prominence in the society, you have to be like, you know what I mean, opposed to your own people. Like if you want to run for politics, because you have to conform to the doctrines, not even the policies of Esau. Just like in Barack Obama, even though he was a Hamite, or people perceived that he was one of us. But at any rate, he was not an Edomite, so he had to conform. He had to follow he had to toe the line. Once they outnumber you, you have to basically you have to follow the protocol that they set. Even in politics, even if you're a governor, even say police officers, judges, and all that. That's how we see certain things that the police officers, even or people, or police officers, or one of us. They go even harder on us than Esau, especially when they're in the company of Esau. Well, because this is not our rest, man. Read on. Go back to
6.
Yeah.
6. Judges chapter 6. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and the Most High delivered them into the hand of the Midian.
See that?
Of Midian 7 years.
See that? And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and the Most High delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. The Midian again, huh? Didn't the Most High just deliver us from the Midianites with Gideon not too long ago? Maybe it's coming up now. Okay, it's coming up. Right, so, but we had some running with the Midianites way back. I mean, the Midianites were the ones used to bring the women around, and other women entice the men of Israel, and them and the Moabites entice the men of Israel to follow their gods. That's why Phineas had to drive the spear through that Israelites and that Moabite woman to put away the evil of the Israel. Go ahead. Right. I read on.
Verse 2. And the hand of the Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds.
Right. And the hand of the Midianites prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds. See that? Because we almost basically destroyed the Midianites in the time of Phineas. And now what? Because of a disobedience, the Most High raised them up again. That's why the Most High sometimes give an order to slaughter everyone, the whole nation, men, women, and children. And if you disobey, on a slaughter, who you think the Most High wants to be slaughtered, instead of who you said to be should be slaughtered, then this is what happens. They come right back maybe like 100 years later, a younger generation with grudge to take vengeance. So the children of Israel were following the ways of the Midianites, and they were building dens in the mountains and caves. Read on.
Verse 3. And so it was when Israel had sown that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites, and the children of the east, even they came up against them.
Right. So they waited, man. They waited until we planted our crops, so they waited until it's time to harvest. They said, okay, the crops should be ready in about 6 months, 8 months, 9, whatever. It's harvest time now, so that's when they come up. We planted, but they reaped. And so it was when Israel had sown that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites. Remember the Amalekites? The same Amalekites who attacked us when we were coming out of Egypt, who attacked us are the ones of us who were lingering behind. Yeah, that's what they did. And the Moses told us what not to forget the Amalekites. And they're back again. And the children of the east, even they came up against them. Read.
And they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth, till thou came unto Gaza, and left no substance for Israel, neither sheep nor ox nor donkey.
Right. And they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth. They took everything, man. They took our crops. They took our sheep, ox, donkeys, everything. They left no sustenance for Israel. So we were at this point impoverished. Right?
For they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers for multitude. For both they had their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it.
Right. So after they took our crops, they destroyed the field. They took what they wanted and destroyed everything else. So we had nothing. Right?
Verse 6. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites. And the children of Israel cried unto the Most High. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto the Most High because of the Midianites, that the Most High sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel.
See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the Most High's mercy endured forever. The Most High is so merciful to Israel, been so merciful to Israel throughout the years. Long suffering to Israel, patient with us, knowing us we are stiff-necked, hard-headed, and rebellious people. We saw the good that the Most High do for us, when we keep His laws, statutes, and commandments. But we always forget that and follow the ways of the other nations. But what? Even after that, if we cried unto the Most High and acknowledge our transgression with sincerity, the Most High will forgive us anyway and be our defense. Read 8 again.
Judges chapter 6 and verse 8. That the Most High sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which saith unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt. I brought you forth out of the house of bondage.
Right, so the Most High raised up another prophet amongst Israel to deliver them from the Midianites. Read.
And I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave you their land. Verse 10. And I said unto you, I am the Lord your God. Fear not the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice.
Right. So the Most High is reminding them, I am the power that brought you up out of Egypt, that delivered you from the Egyptians and drave out different nations from before you and give you their land and told you not to follow the ways of the gods of the Amorites and the other nations. But you did that anyway. You totally ignored my commandments. That's why right now you are being oppressed by these Midianites. That's why people today are being oppressed by the other nations. You forsook the Most High and follow their religion, the Christianity, democracy, Islam, Rastafarianism, atheism, Buddhism. Or people caught up into all of those, man. That's why as a people we're struggling and suffering. Because the Most High one turn his back on us because of our disobedience. Verse 11.
And there came an angel of the Lord and sat under an oak which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Ambezerite. And his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites.
Right. So that's what they do. That's what the Israelites to do. They to hide and thresh their wheat. Because if the Midianites was aware that they had crops, they would either take it or take it away or destroy it. Right?
Verse 12. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us?
Right.
And where
just like Ezra said, if the Most High made his word for our sakes, why then are the nation ruling over us? You know what I mean, as if they don't know why. Because it should be the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Israel always in denial, man. Pretend as if we were so innocent. We see what maybe you're obedient, but look at the people. That's why the good servants for the bad. Gideon he was keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, just like Esdras was. But the people run about them. They weren't, and because of that, collectively as a people, we are oppressed by the other nations, and that's exactly what was happening right now, the time of Gideon, by the Midianites. Read it again.
Verse 13. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord hath forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites.
See? And they know the history too. Because that was fresh in their mind. I mean, even though it was generations. If we today are aware of it, it was more fresh in their mind. But hey, that didn't mean much a lot for people back then. Verse 14.
And the Lord looked upon him and said, go in this night, thy night, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee? And he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house.
So the Most High let him know, go in this thy night and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have I not sent thee? I'm sending you. But Manasseh was saying, how am I going to do that? I'm just a poor Israelite of Manasseh, me and my family. You're struggling. Read.
Verse 16. And the Most High said, and the Lord said unto him, surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then show me a sign that thou talkest with me.
Wow. I mean, an angel of the Most High is talking to you face to face, telling you what the Most High is going to do, what the Most High requires you to do, and what's going to happen. But they still want more sign. That's Israel. Our faith was so low. Our faith was so low that even when we're talking basically face to face with the Most High, letting us know what's going to happen, we still have doubt. So what? Israel wanted a sign. Gideon wanted a sign from the Most High to be self-assured, to be assured that the Most High indeed was delivering the Midianites into his hand. Read.
Verse 18, depart not hence, I pray thee, until I come unto thee, and bring forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until thou come again. And Gideon went in and made ready a kid and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour. And the flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and brought it out unto him under the oak, and presented it.
Right. So just like Abraham cooked food, had Sarah prepare a calf for the angels. Hey, Gideon is doing the same thing for his angel. His angel got to be fed, man. They got a good appetite. Yeah.
When you read First Timothy chapter 3, Paul instructs Timothy that the elders, the bishop, should be pretty much hospitable. Again, this is part of our culture.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Whenever you're visited, being visited by a stranger, yeah, you got to show your hospitality. I mean, prepare a good meal and proper accommodation and all that. Wash your feet and all that. That was a custom for people back then. Read verse 20.
And the Lord of Yahweh said unto him, take the flesh of the unleavened cakes and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so. Then the angel of the Most High put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and torched the flesh in the unleavened cakes. Touched the flesh of the unleavened cakes. And there rose up fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. Then the angel of the Lord departed out of his sight. And
right. So that was a sign that the angel saw a fire come out of the rock. Just by touching the cakes, a fire came out of the rock to consume the cake. Read.
Verse 22. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of the Lord, Gideon said, alas, O Lord God, for because I have seen an angel of the Most High face to face. And the Most High said unto him, peace be on thee, fear not, thou shalt not die.
Right. That was our belief. That is, whenever you see the angel, like you see the Most High face to face, and no one seen the Most High face to face. That was something that was passed down word of mouth, anecdotally. Shall no one see my face and live? I mean, does anyone want to see the Most High's face shall die? So they perceive this angel. Interacting with this angel is like interacting with the Most High face to face, and that means you're going to die. That's the perception, that's the understanding that Gideon had about this angel. Because what the angel just did, Gideon saw for sure. This gotta be an angel of the Most High, man of the Most High. Read.
Verse 24. Then Gideon built an altar there unto the Lord and called it Jehovah Shalom. Unto this day it is yet Ophran of the Abizarites.
Unto this day it is yet in Ophrah of the Abizarites. Jehovah Shalom, Yahweh in peace, the Most High in peace. That's the name of the altar that Gideon built right there and then. Good, verse 25.
And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it.
Right, so now Moses has further given Gideon just built an altar to the Most High. But on top of that, the Most High is now instructing Gideon to tear down the altar that his father had built to Baal. Right on.
Verse 26. And build an altar unto the Lord thy God upon the top of this rock in the ordered place. And take the second bullock and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove, which thou shalt cut down. Then Gideon took 10 men of his servants and did as the Lord had said unto him. And so it was, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do it by day, that he did it by night.
Right. So Gideon, those men, they were firm believers and worshippers of Baal. So if Gideon was to endeavor to tear down this altar that they built to Baal, there would have been war right there. I mean, those men would have been a violent confrontation. So he did it on the sneak tip, behind the back in the wee hours of the night. He got 10 men with him to tear down the grove, that altar that the men had built. Read.
Verse 28. And when the men arose, when the men of the city arose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the grove was cut down that was by it. And the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. And they said one to another, who have done this thing?
Who did this? That was what they were asking. Who could have the nerve to tear down this altar that we built to great Baal? That's what they were saying. That's what they were thinking. Read.
Verse 29. And they said one to another, who have done this thing? And when they have inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, the son of Joash, hath done this thing.
Right. So they did some investigating, and it turned out to be it was Gideon who did it. It was going to look. I saw him, gathering those 10 men, his 10 servants. I saw him, gathering hammers and sledgehammers and all that, machetes and all that. Yeah, we knew he was up to something, but we couldn't figure it out. So okay, so now we know what he did. He tore down that altar. Read on.
Verse 30. Then the men of the city said unto Joash, bring out thy son, that he may die.
So the men said they were mad as hell. So they went to Joash, Gideon's father. Bring him out so we can kill him. He shouldn't have done that. You know what he did? He tore down the altar that was built to Baal. That's a hell of a price. You can't get away with that. Bring him out. I know it's his son. We're cool, but for what he did, you can't get away with that. Read. But evidently, they forgot about that. They put the Most High's commandments behind them. So now, no, they must just seduce, by the other nations. They want to worship the gods of the other nations. These men are totally forgot the Most High. The Most High delivered them out of their enemies. Hey, they lived good for a while, for 40 years. And after that, hey, back in the hands of the Midianites, a heathen nation. Read on.
Verse 30. Then the men of the city said unto Joash,
Mhm.
Bring out thy son, that he may die, because he hath cast down the altar of Baal, and because he hath cut down the grove that was by it. And Joash said unto all that stood against him, Will ye plead for Baal? Will ye save him? He that will plead for him, let him be put to death while it is yet morning. If he be a god, let him plead for himself, because one have cast down his altar.
All right. So now, so Joash was talking like he got some kind of a sense all of a sudden, because what? His son's life was in danger now. But he said, I mean, will you plead for Baal? Will you plead for him? If he a God, if Baal is a God, let him defend himself. But this same Joash was the one was amongst those men who were worshiping Baal. But because of his son's life was in danger, he's gonna put up a defense. Read on.
Verse 32. Therefore, on that day he called him Jerub-Baal, saying, Let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar.
Right. So therefore, on that day he called Joash called his son Jerubbaal, saying, Let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar. Read.
Then all the Midianites and Amalekites and the children of the east were gathered together and went over and pitched in the valley of Jezreel. But the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Abiezer was gathered after him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, who also was gathered after him. And he sent messengers unto Asher, and unto Zebulun, and unto Naphtali. And they came up to meet them.
Right. So the Midianites and the Amalekites and children of the east were gathered together to fight against Israel. But at the same time, the Most High put a spirit to the warrior spirit. Our Most High power being a man of war, he put the warrior spirit, a warlike spirit into Gideon. So Gideon blew the trumpet and sent throughout his tribe in Manasseh to Zebulun and other tribes, Naphtali, Asher, to, hey, prepare yourself for battle. The Amalekites and the Midianites and the men of the east are coming to fight against us. Gird up your loins, bring out your armor, and let's go to war against them. Read on, verse 36.
And Gideon said unto Yahweh, If thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor. And if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside, then shall I know that thou wilt save Israel by my hand, as thou hast said. And
yes, but let us signs, man. If you're going to deliver us from these Midianites, yeah, I got this fleece I'm going to put on the floor. So, I mean, I want to be sure. I know you're the Most High, and I know the works you've done for Israel through the generations, how you delivered us from our enemies and all that, on countless occasions. But I'm just a man. I'm just a poor man of Manasseh. I've never seen any of this myself, so I need to be more convinced. Yeah, I'm not questioning your authority or anything, but I got this fleece. I'm gonna put it on the floor. So if you're really gonna deliver the Midianites into my hand, let the fleece be wet, and the rest of the territories round about it be dry. Yeah, I was ye have little faith. I read on that.
Verse 38. And it was so, for he rose up early on the morrow and thrust the fleece together and wringed the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water.
The fleece is very wet. It's a lot of water, a bowl full of water. I don't know how big the bowl was, but but I read on that's a lot of water. Read.
And Gideon said unto Yahweh, let not thine anger be hot against me, and I will seek but this once. Let me prove, I pray thee. But this once with the fleece, let it now be dry only upon the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew.
Wow. So now he's asking for the opposite. He's asking for a sign he wants to want to see the opposite now of what the Most High just did. Now he wants the fleece to be dry and the ground round about the fleece be wet. Another sign Gideon wanted from the Most High.
This Moses pretty much did that same thing with the Most High when he didn't want to go to.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's Israel. What am I going to do with you guys? How much more do I got to show you? I read on, verse 40.
And Yahweh did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew all the ground.
See, and the Most High, okay, the Most High granted him, his request and showed him the sign in the opposite manner. The fleece being dry and the ground being wet round about the fleece. So by this time, I suppose that Gideon, aka Jerubbaal, is now convinced that the Most High was indeed about to deliver the Midianites into his hands and into Israel's hands. Chapter 7.
Judges chapter 7. Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand hath saved me.
Right. So no, the Midianites were like, gathering themselves together against Israel. They were on the north side of the of Israel. And but the more Gideon are putting requests through different tribes, requests for men to join them in the battle against the Midianites. But the Most High said that's too many men. That's too many men. I want to be sanctified amongst the nations. I want it to be known throughout Israel that I am the one who must win this battle. I am the one who delivered the Midianites into Israel. I don't want Israel to think that because of the numerous warriors that it was them of their might, of their own personal might, a valiant of the personal might, that they had the victory over the Midianites. I want it to be known that I, the Most High, is the one who delivered the Midianites and into your hands. You know?
I'm going to read 2 again.
Okay.
Verse 2. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand hath saved me. Now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned the people, and there returned of the people 20 and 2,000, and there remained 10,000.
So okay, so now Gideon was trying to weed them out. He was trying to make a distinction between who was ready for war and who was, kind of timid. So he said, who was fearful and afraid to go to war, let him return and go home. No, I ain't gonna be mad at you. And when he said that, 20,000, 20 and 2,000 return home, and 10,000 remain. So that was like so before that there were like 32,000 men who was ready to go to war. Right?
And the Most High said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee. The same shall go with thee, and whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shall thou set by himself. Likewise, every one that boweth down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lap, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water.
Right. So after the first round of vetting who was ready for war, the Most High, always set up another requirement that had to be met. This time, of the 10,000 men, the Most High said, that's way too many men anyway. That's still too many men. So, here's the criteria they have to meet. Go down to the river, and those who drink the water a certain way, like a dog. Those are going to sit by you, and those who drink it another way, those are going to send home. So those who they went into the river, and the ones who are dip their hand in the river, bring the water to the mouth. But 300 men. Then you had the rest, which was 9,700. 9,700 that they bowed down and put their head in the water and start drinking without looking around. That's kind of like you're not very careful. But the Most High already knew what was going to happen anyway. And the majority of them, 9,700, that's what they did. They just bowed down on their knees and started drinking. And the Most High said, those 9,700, they're going home. But the 700 who scoop up the water with their hand and put it to the mouth, those are the ones that take into war with you. Only those 300 men. Right? It's amazing. Yeah. 300 men. You know that movie 300? That's where that came from. Yeah, that's where that came from. It's like we're saying Yakuna, these men are the Hollywood and these generals, and they read the scriptures, and they got their inspirations. Of course, they put only a wicked spin on it, totally distort the facts, you know what I mean? But but the essence of it they got from the scriptures.
When I was taking my secondary class, we had to watch a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought this, it was part of it, was saying that when Abraham had 218 men,
Okay.
he did pretty much, this is where pretty much the special forces idea comes from.
Okay, can. Yeah.
That's it, also it's impressive.
Can.
That's a recipe for him. We don't need 50 to 80 men for him.
Exactly. Yeah. The smaller the army, the more organized, more agile the army is. It can move around, undetected and all that. I pose an element of surprise upon them. Yeah. What verse are we in now? Verse
7.
7, read.
And Yahweh said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lap will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let all the other people go every man unto his place. So the people took victuals in their hand and their trumpets, and he sent them all the rest of Israel every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men. And the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley.
Right. So the 9,700 men Gideon sent home and retained the 300 that only that drunk the water a certain way. Those are the 300 men that Moses said he was going to deliver, going to use to deliver Israel from the Midianites. Read on, verse 9.
Verse 9. And it came to pass the same night that Yahweh said unto him, arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. But if thou fear to go down, go thou with
Phurah.
Purah, thy servant down to the host, and thou shalt hear what they say. And afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went down with Purah, his servant, unto the outside, and armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and the children of the east lay along the valley like grasshoppers for multitude, and their camels were without number, as the sand by the sea, aside for multitude.
Right. They were like grasshoppers from multitude. There's a lot of men. They didn't give a number, but just by the description, grasshoppers for multitude. Grasshoppers in the grass, a lot. Read.
Verse 13. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along. Verse 14.
Right. So this man had a dream that a barley cake rolled into the host of the Midianites and smote it, that it fell and overturned, that the tent lay along. Let's see what the interpretation of the dream is. Read.
And his fellow answered and said, this is nothing else save the sword of Gideon and the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand have God delivered Midian and all the hosts. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he worshiped, and he returned into the host of Israel, and said, arise, for the Lord hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian.
Right. So the interpretation of the dream was that the barley cake that rolled into the host of the Midian was Gideon's sword. Infiltrating the company and slaughtering the Midianites. So that was comforting to Gideon, that gave him confidence. So he praised the Most High for that, and then prepares the men to go down to battle. Right?
And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them, look on me, and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that I do so. So shall ye do. When I blow with a trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, the sword of the Lord and of Gideon.
Right. So Gideon gave all, just like Joshua get all the men blow the marching around Jericho 7 times and blowing the trumpet. Now Gideon give all 300 men a trumpet. And said that they were gonna blow the trumpet at his command. Read on. Go ahead.
In verse 16 says that, and he divided the 200 men into three companies. That's pretty much how we saw. When you read the order of war by so and so, pretty much this is what he's talking about. But if you're
The what? When you read the what?
the order of war
Oh, the order pour.
by
Okay.
so and so,
Okay.
it states that if
Right.
you have your army to go faster on the enemy, you have to divide
Right.
your troops.
Right.
So you see, like that church garbage about you pretty much sweet Jesus is nonsense.
It's not right. Exactly. We know the one. The what school? Give me that. Exodus 15:3. Just to reiterate, our power is a man of war, man. Just like Barak and Deborah, they were singing songs unto the Most High, praising the Most High, giving thanks to the Most High for the victory that they had over the Canaanites. And the Most High put the spirit on Gideon to come up with this idea of dividing, of arranging his men a certain way in this to prepare for the battle. Exodus 15:3.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
The Most High is a man of war. Coming out of Egypt, that's all we did. So how many nations? Several nations we had to conquer. Several nations we had to conquer in order for us to settle into our homeland. And even though we were not organized, because we were in captivity for over 400 years, and we couldn't have an army on the Pharaoh's nose. So it was the Most High who instilled a spirit of warfare into us throughout our journey from Egypt into through the wilderness to our homeland. It was the Most High who organized us as military men in that process, because we were not military men back in Egypt. We were in bondage. We were not organized in any way, from a fashion. And even before that, we were like what were we? We were farmers. We were shepherds. Come on.
I had a precept too.
All right, what you got? I'll get out.
We ain't finished on.
Oh, yeah, read 50, yeah.
Exodus chapter 15 and 3. The Most High is a man of war.
The Most High is a man of war. Read.
Yahweh is his name.
The Most High is in it. Yahweh is his name. Read. That it?
That's it for
Okay.
15 and 3.
I'll get out. Psalms 44 and 1.
I got a precept also.
I'll get your precept and get Psalms.
Well, mine's is in Matthew 10 and 34. It's written in red, so we know that's Yahweh Shai speaking. And he says, Matthew 10 and 34. 10 and 34. Think not that I come to send peace on earth.
Yahweh Shai said, right, he didn't come to send peace on earth. And when he comes back, sure ain't gonna be no peace on earth. He's coming back for war. He's coming to draw blood, tens of thousands of millions and millions of angels, warriors with him to slaughter. Read.
I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Right. Mashiach Yahweh said, he came not to send peace, but a sword. And ever since Mashiach Yahweh came and died and reconciled us back to the Most High, we went to a lot of tribulation. Because just like he went through his tribulation, we had to go through our tribulation, and we will have to go through more tribulation to make it into the kingdom. And what do you say? There's going to be wars, rumors of wars, nation against nations, kingdom against kingdoms. So that's not peace. Is there more than that?
Yeah, that's it on that. But it kills the fact that, these Christians want that cushion Christ, that soft Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking soft words.
Mhm.
That kills that right there.
And there's also one thing, you see, when you read the Willie Lynch letter, that warrior spirit elder is pretty much a burnt out elder was now. Pretty much what you see now is homosexual. That warrior spirit elder is pretty much is now if we when we go to camp, when we go to the way we actually portray ourselves, some of them they are even scared of us.
Right. Yeah. Because we have to come back and you know what I mean, put on that armor, the spiritual armor, and that warrior spirit. Even though we're weak, we're waiting on the Most High to rise up to the prey. As far as military activities go, but we recognize that the Most High was a man of war, and we actually fight many wars, and we're going to be fighting many wars. What do you think Armageddon is going to be about? Yeah.
We got Psalms chapter 144, verse 1.
Come on.
Blessed be the Lord God. Blessed be the Lord, my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight.
Right. That's why the Most High set up David. That's what David said of the Most High. Blessed be the Most High's strength. Blessed be the Most High who teacheth his hands to war and his fingers to fight. Read it again. Let me get
Psalms 44:1. Blessed be the Lord, my strength.
The Most High is the strength. Right?
Which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight.
The Most High teacheth David's hands to war and his fingers to fight. So David was acknowledging that he got his militancy, his warrior spirit from the Most High. Give me also Psalms 149.
Which verse?
What?
Psalms 149.
You read the whole thing. It's a small Psalms.
Psalms 149. Praise ye the Lord.
Praise ye the Most High. Read.
Sing unto the Lord a new song.
Sing unto the Most High. We always sing unto the Most High song. Whenever the Most High give us victory back in the past, we always sing a song. Just like Miriam, we always sing a song unto the Most High when the Most High deliver us from our enemies and give us a victory. Right?
And his praises in the congregation of saints.
And his praises in the congregation of saints. Who are the saints? Israelites. Right?
Let Israel rejoice in him that made him.
Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Who made us? The Most High made us. Right?
Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king.
Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Right?
Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp.
Right. We're gonna sing praises to Most High with a timbrel and a harp. That's musical instruments in the dance. Read.
For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation.
Right. The Most High takes pleasure with his people. He's going to beautify the meek with salvation. The Most High takes pleasure in Israel, man. He's going to beautify us with salvation. Read.
Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds.
Let the saints be joyful in glory. The saints be in Israel. Let them be joyful on their beds, man. When we sleep, hey, be joyful on our beds, thanking the Most High that, he chose Israel. Thanking the Most High for Yahweh to deliver Israel, to reconcile Israel back to the Most High. Read.
Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth. And a two-edged.
No, two-edged.
Oh, two-edged. I don't know why they made it like that in my book. And a two-edged sword in their hand.
Read that again.
Verse 6. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth,
right,
and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathens and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of irons.
Right. That's a reflection of what's going to happen in the future. Let the praise of the Most High be in our mouth and a two-edged sword in our hands to execute vengeance upon our enemies, man. That doesn't sound like a sweet Jesus. That is Christian that I'm talking about. That sounds like a man of war right there.
Good.
Let the high praises of the Most High be in your mouth and a two-edged sword in your hand to execute vengeance upon the heathens. Now, that's going to be the future. You guys have Yakanan? Revelation 2, verse 25? I get that. Revelation 2, verse 25. Right?
Revelations 2 and 25. Con. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come.
Right, that's Mashiach Yahushua telling the church of church back in the time of John the Revelator. Right, telling the church that righteousness which you already have, hold fast to it. Don't deviate from it. This righteousness which we have today, known with the Hebrew Israelites, know we should keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, believe the Mashiach Yahushua, keep the high holy days, the new moons, Hanukkah, and take ourselves away from the pollution of this earth, their holidays, the wickedness, the Christmas, New Year's, Halloween. We should hold fast to that till Yahushua comes back. Read.
Verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Right? And he that overcometh and keepeth my works to the end. So when the Christian talking about they're saved, Yahushua said, he that overcometh and keepeth my works to the end. The end, this ain't the end.
Right.
We may be the end times. You know what we need? The latter days. And the latter days is a long time. Him will I what? Read it again. Him will I make to rule over the nation. Read it again.
Verse 26. And he that overcometh.
He that overcometh mean what? You recognize the wickedness. You overcome the wickedness. You repent for your transgression. Come back into righteousness. And you hold fast to what you know to be righteous. 26, Revelation 2, verse 26.
Yeah.
Read on.
And keepeth my works unto the end.
And keep it my works. You know about faith. Keep the works. Faith without works is dead. Keep it my works. Keep the faith. You know, a lot of people say, keep the faith, brother. Keep the faith. You heard that expression? You got to keep the works too, not just the faith. Keep the works too, and keep the works to the end. So we gotta spread this word continually. Go to camp, spread the word. Conform. Separate yourselves. Do not conform to the ways of the world. Hold your heritage. Keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. You got to endure. Read.
To him will I give power over the nations.
To him will I give power over the nations. So how come they say the nations are going to be saved? How are the nations going to be saved if we're going to have power over the nations? And they say, how was I talking right there? To him will I give power over the nations. He didn't just say to him will I give power. He said to him will I give power over the nation. And you know he's talking to the Israelites right there. To you Israelites will I give power over the nations. So it's a given fact that Israel is going to be ruling over the nations. But which of us are going to be in the position of rulership of the nation of Israel. That depends on ones of us who and keep the works of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushai to the end. Those of us, those are the ones of us who are going to have power over the nations. We're going to be the kings of the earth. Read? Is there more?
Yes, one more verse. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
See that? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. You know they're talking about the end. So when they come up talking about all nations are going to be saved. Just because you're alive, that doesn't mean you're going to be saved. They may not be put to death, but that doesn't mean they're saved. We're going to rule them with a rod of iron. When you rule someone with a rod of iron, that's total dominance. That's an equal partnership right there. That's total dominance, rulership. You know what I mean? Well, Esau is ruling with a rod of iron right now. You see the way they handle our people. We're not equal to Esau. And every chance to get the reminders of that back. Yeah, of course. Every chance to get to let us know that.
So he went in front of the judge and he was apologizing to everything. And then he said, okay, I'm gonna give you 60 years, but I'm gonna give you 50 years probation. And like if you get 50 years probation, you're gonna wind up going back to jail.
Automatic.
You're gonna get pulled over one day. Right. You know what I'm saying? You don't pay
50 years. Walking on eggshells.
That's like an insult, man.
I wonder if it's gonna crack.
He's making a mockery of that guy. What's the difference between 60 and 50?
Right.
And then you got somebody who violated parole, and now they're trying to give him 60 years in prison. That's just going to show you our life not worth nothing.
It's like a mockery to them. It's a joke.
It's a game to them.
Yeah. Right. Is there more?
Yes, more.
Oh, go ahead.
Verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my father.
Right. As the vessels of a potter, they shall be broken to shivers. You know, like a potter has power over the pottery that it makes. You can shape it and then destroy it and reshape it as it pleases. That's how we're gonna rule over these nations. They're gonna be like vessels. We can do whatever we please with them. Of course, we're not gonna do to them with them that they do to us, because other than ruling with a rod of iron, but we're not gonna do anything that's abominable or immoral like that. And go back to
Judges.
Go back to Judges, God.
Verse 15, 7 and 15? 8 and 15?
7, right?
Judges 7 verse 18.
Oh, 18. The water. And break the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 3 companies blew and the trumpets and break the pitchers
Right. So they follow Gideon instruction. They're on the book of Gideon. Read.
And they stood every man in his place round about the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the host. And the host fled to Beth Shithra and Zarethra, and the border of the Abel
Abel Meholah.
Meholah,
Right.
unto Tabbath. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites.
So they gathered themselves out of the three main tribes: Asher, Naphtali, and Manasseh. All right.
Verse 24. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all of Mount Ephraim, saying, come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters of Beth Barah and Jordan. Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and took the waters of Beth Barah and Jordan, and they took two princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb, and they slew Oreb upon the rock, Oreb and Zeb, and they slew at the winepress of Zeb, and pursued the Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon on the other side of Jordan.
All right. Okay. What do you have? 10 minutes, 9. Right. So after those three tribes, Asher, Manasseh, and Naphtali, then he sent for the Ephraimites. He sent for the Ephraimites to join in the battle, and they pursued. Ephraimites pursued two princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb, and slew them, and cut off their heads. Okay. All right, let's do chapter 8.
Chapter 8. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, why hast thou served us thus, that thou callest us not, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites? And they did chide with him sharply. And he said unto them, what have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer?
Right. So the Ephraimites are mad that Gideon hadn't called them originally, in the heat of the battle, when because they wanted a piece of the war, a piece of the pie. They wanted to participate in this war against the Midianites. Even though Gideon, called them basically at the tail end of the battle, Ephraim wasn't satisfied with that. They were mad that Gideon hadn't called them at the beginning of the battle, because they were mad at Gideon. But Gideon said, "What's the problem? I mean, you got to play a major role. You got their heads. You're the ones who slew the princes." Read.
God have delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb and Zeb, and what was I able to do in the comparison of you? Then their anger was abated toward him.
That's right. So Gideon reassured him that, hey, you're playing a major role. The Most High delivered the princes of Midian into your hands. That's a big honor right there. Right?
When he said that, and Gideon came on to Jordan and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint, pursuing them. And he said unto them, unto the men of Succoth, give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zebath and Zalmunna, kings of Midian.
Mm-hmm.
And the princes of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebath and Zulmanna now in thy hand, that we should give bread unto thine army?
Right. So Gideon was asking the men of Sukkoth to give him food, victuals, because they were hungry and thirsty, hung up the pursuing the Midianites for so long. But the men of Sukkoth, hey, they weren't receptive to Gideon. So I mean, have you captured them yet? Why should I give you food? I'm not giving them the food. Read on.
Verse 7. And Gideon said, therefore, when the Lord have delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars. And he went up thence to Peniel and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Peniel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. And he spake also unto the men of Peniel, saying, when I come again in peace, I will break down this tower.
Right. So he went to another city, Penuel, and asked him for food also, and they told him the same thing. We're not giving him the food, man. I know we know you're hungry and all that, but we haven't got anything to give you right now. You know, so and then Gideon told him the same thing. When I come back, when I victorious in this battle against the Midianites, and I come back, I'm gonna tear down your city.
Verse 10. And now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of the host of the children of the east. For there fell 120,000 men that drew sword.
120,000 men that drew sword. It's a lot of men that Israelites from the Midianites. Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor on their hosts with them. About 15,000 men, all that were left. Only 15,000 men were left. All the hosts of the children of the east. For they fell 120,000 men that drew sword. Read.
And Gideon went up the way of them and that dwelt in the tents of the east of Nobah and Jogbehah. And he smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them and took the two kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomforted all the hosts. And Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from battle before the sun was up. Judges chapter 8 and 14. He and caught a young man of the men of Succoth and inquired of him, and he described unto him the princes of Succoth.
Yeah, fine.
I'm on 15 now.
So now, so Gideon slew the kings. There's two kings were pursuing. So he was on his way back now. So he found the young men of Succoth, and he inquired of him what the princes looked like, or the princes of Succoth looked like, and he described them. The princes and the elders looked like, and he described them to Gideon. Or what would it? And the princes of Succoth and the elders thereof, even 70 men. That's 77 men. 60 plus 17. That's 77. Read on.
Verse 14. And caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him, and he described unto him the princes of Succoth, the elders thereof, even 70 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth and said, behold, Zebah and Zalmunna prayed me, saying unto the men that are weary.
Right. So Gideon came to them to Succoth and said to the men of Succoth, behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, which whom hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give you bread unto thy men, give bread unto thy men that are weary. So he said, okay, I got them now. Now they're in my hand. Now Zebah and Zalmunna are in my hand right now. Read.
Verse 16. And he took the elders of the city and thorns of the wilderness and briars and taught the men of Succoth. And he beat down the tower of Penuel and slew the men of the city. Then
When
said,
it said he taught the men of Succoth, and he took the elders of the city and thorns of the wilderness and briars, thorns and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. What does that mean? He taught them. He taught them. He whipped them. Whipped them with them. With taught them some manners, I guess. Taught them some good manners. They were disrespectful, so taught them good manners, like children. You know, like a little child back in Ireland, little child who disobeyed. Go give me a piece of whip. They gave me a piece of branch of the tree. They whip him. That's what Gideon did to these elders and men of Succoth, the thorns and briars, and taught them, and then he beat down the tower of Penuel and slew the men of the city. So he taught them, then he slew them. Read.
Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, what manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, as thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king.
Right. And then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna. Also, he hadn't killed Zebah and Zalmunna yet.
Yeah.
You hold them for trophy at this point. But he killed the other men of the city. What manner of men? Oh well, it was Zebah and Zalmunna are the Midianite kings, but he did slay the men of Succoth. Okay. Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, what manner of men were they whom you slew at Tabor? What kind of men did you slay at Tabor? And they answered, as thou art, so were they. Just like you. They looked just like you. They were men just like you. Each one resembled the children of a king. They were royalty. They were royal men. They were not regular men of renown. That's why the kings were telling Gideon. Read verse 19.
And he said, they were my brethren.
They were my brethren. They were my peoples. Read.
Even the sons of my mother.
Even the sons of my mother. Read.
As the Lord liveth, if ye have saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said unto Jethro, his firstborn, up and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Yes, but so he asked his son, young son. He was giving his young son an honor to slay them, but his young son, he was just a kid. He wasn't brought up in warfare yet. He didn't have the courage yet of a soldier. He was just a young kid. So he didn't kill him as his father commanded. So read. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, rise thou and fall upon us, for as the men is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna and took away their ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Verse 22. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us, both thou and thy son, and thy son's sons also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you. See that? Now Gideon said, they want to get into rule over them now. Gideon said, I'm not going to rule over you. Neither will my son rule over you. The Most High is going to rule over you. So Gideon will let them know, I don't want you to follow me. I want to give out this honor to the Most High, keep his laws, statutes, and commandments, and live a righteous life. That's what Gideon was telling them. To be mindful of what happened to begin with, why we were in this captivity in the first place. Because we did not want the Most High to rule over us.
So now that we saw what happened because of our disobedience, and that the Most High delivered us from this captivity, you should take heed now and let the Most High rule over you and keep his commandments going forward. Read.
Verse 24. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that ye would give me every man the earrings of his prey. For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites.
So what? So what's the heritage of the Midianites?
Ishmaelites.
They were Ishmaelites. Right. So the Midianites were descendants of Abraham also through Ishmael. Right. I guess he was accustomed to wear earrings. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that you would give me every man the earrings of his prey. For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. So that was a custom of the Ishmaelites, to have golden earrings. All right.
And they answered, we will willingly give them. And they spread a garment, and did cast therein every man the earrings of his prey. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, beside ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were about their camel's neck.
Beside the chains that were about the camel's neck. These guys must be rich. The camels are chains. Oh, he had golden. Yo, camels are chains. Wow. Yeah, camels are like transportation, just like Jake. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Right.
Verse 27. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put in his city, even in Ephraim, and all Israel went thither in a whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and to his house.
So Gideon made an ephod there and put it in the city, even in Ophrah, and the men went a whoring after. The men started admiring it too much, which was kind of concerning to Gideon, right?
Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more. And the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon.
Right. So they subdued the Midianites, and Israel was in peace 40 years. Right.
And Jerub-Baal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house.
So Joash, after he conquered the Midianites, he went and after Gideon, Jerubbaal conquered the Midianites, he went and dwelt in his own house. Really, to enjoy life as a family man. Right?
And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives.
And Gideon had 70 sons, that's 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. Right?
And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name he called Abimelech. And Gideon, the son of Joash, died a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash his father, in Ophrah of the Abizrites. Verse 33. And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, the children of Israel turned again and went a whoring after Baalim, and made Baal Berith their god. And the children of Moses said it too. When I die, y'all gonna
Once the judge is dead, you go
Yeah. Because the judge was commanding them to keep on the Most High statutes and commandments. That's what Gideon was doing. But as soon as he died, now like I said, yeah, they felt that they didn't have to give any that reverence to the new judge who was going to be ruling over Israel at that time. They're like, "What have you done for me?" I mean, so I don't have to obey you. And maybe that judge was going off too. We'll find it in later chapters. Or maybe the people that's going off and the judge that's been along with them wasn't strong enough to rule over them or to guide them. But the children, but the people of Israel, the Israelites had to know what Gideon did and what happened prior to Gideon delivering them from the Midianites. But yeah, that's our people. Always rebelling. Once the good is good, then we just go off and start following the ways of the other nations. Read on, verse 34.
Verse 34. And the children of Israel remembered not the Most High their power, who hath delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. Neither showed thy kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had shewed unto Israel.
See that? They forgot what the Most High did for them. They forgot that the Most High delivered them from the Midianites. And they totally, instead of saying showing respect on Gideon's offspring, his 70 sons and their family, acknowledging them for how he delivered, is recognize him as a hero. His namesake is a hero. They totally disregarded his family, his offspring. And and they went in the ways of the other nations. So we're gonna leave it off right there. Chapter 8. So we did 5, 6, 7, 4 chapters. We did 4 chapters of Judges. So brothers are going to prepare for the street teaching. The Most High willing, next week we continue this or another topic that whatever the Most High revealed to me. So we're gonna say Shalom to our Yasharala listening on the live stream and Facebook, YouTube, online. But don't forget tomorrow, Most High willing at noon Eastern time down in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, 2937 West Broward Boulevard. We're gonna have the Shabbat service again. Kan. So I'm Michael Pandya, Jerusalem, stand up face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Ilwa, Ladawad, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Naayam, Shabbath, Akyam, Gam, Yakad, Kashaman, Atawab, Il, Haraash, Yarad, Il, Azakwan, Zakwan, Aran, Shayarad, Il, Paya, Madawatawa, Patal, Karamwan, Shayarad, Araria, Tazayawan, Paya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahawa, Abarakat, Kayawam, Aid, Awalam, Bahasham, Mashiach, Yahawashai,
the water,
Aman.
Psalms 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head, that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. Bahashem Mashiach Yahawashai, the Wadatam Yad, Aman.